Welcome to the This Mum Loves Tech podcast, the go-to show for female business owners who want to simplify tech and get the support they need to grow their online businesses with confidence. I'm Nicola Walsh, your podcast host. I'm also a mum to two cheeky boys and I love tech, so you don't have to. I'm here to share actionable tips, tools and strategies that will help you streamline your business and make the tech work for you. So whether you're watching after the kids have gone to bed or listening while on the school run, let's dive into today's episode and make tech that little bit easier. Hello and welcome to another edition of This Mum Loves Tech. And I'm back as promised, maybe a little bit later than planned. I had a few more episodes to squeeze in between, but this is kind of part 2 of my Canva tips. And these ones are all focused on the pro version of Canva. Now, Canva Pro is £100 for the year, and I really do think it is worth the investment. I'm sure I've mentioned it on previous podcast episodes before, but it's one of the tools that I use every day. And so when you break down that £100 per day, it's actually not a lot of money. I mean, maths is not my strong point. I'm sure there's someone there that can quickly work out what that is, but all I know is it's not a lot. And it just means that I get access to all of the amazing features within Canva. And what I'm going to show you today is 5 of my favorites that highlight why the pro version of Canva is such a great investment to make. We're going to be looking at the brand kit, brand templates, and then some of those pro extras, things like removing backgrounds and saving files in different formats. And much like the first Canva tips episode, episode 9, where I showed you my top 5 time-saving Canva tips, in this 5 top Canva Pro tips, I'm going to go directly into Canva and show you how these features work. So if you are listening, you may want to head over to YouTube so that you can catch the videos and see step by step, like where I'm clicking and all that kind of stuff. But I am going to try and explain in as much detail as I can so that if you are listening, you can also follow along. Right, so let's get started with tip number 1. So the first of my 5 Canva Pro tips is how to set up your brand kit. So here we are in Canva, and I'm going to show you where the brand kit feature is and all of the really cool things that you can add to it. So if I go over on the left-hand side, there is the main options, and the 4th one down says brand, and you can tell that it's a pro feature because it's got that little crown next to it. And then brand templates is a little highlight of the next tip coming up, but the first one we're going to focus on brand kits, and that is where you can set up things like your logos, your colors, your fonts. Now if you were listening to my time-saving tips from the first episode, you will know that if you have a free account, you can actually set up a brand kit document. So it kind of works in the same way, but having the brand kit set up within Canva does just make it even more time saving for when you are creating all of your documents. So I'm just going to show you into my one so you can see kind of the kind of things that I've got set up, and then I'm going to show you how you set up your own one. So this is my one, and as you can see here, it's got all my logos. I've got 2 kind of different sides to my business going on, so I've got 2 different lots of logos. I've then got all of my brand colors in here, all the different hex colors, and then you can also select things like your titles and your subtitles and in the different fonts that you want to have them in. And then going down here, you can go as far as to add things to do with your brand voice. If you're using any of the AI tools, it then understands how you want to sound in some of your content if you're getting it AI generated through Canva. Photos, if you want to add in any photos of you that are brand ones, I've actually set up a whole separate folder that is got all of my brand photos in that way instead, but you can add them directly into this kit. Graphics and icons that you want to use regularly as well. So basically you've then got this selection of stuff that's all to do with your business. So if I go back to brand kits, when you come into this section, you just click on add new and give your brand kit a name. And here is where you can then start putting your brand kit together. So to upload a logo, you can either click in the bit in the middle that just says add a logo or drop one in. So if you've got one in your downloads, you can just simply drop it in there. Or if you want to add new, you can then click on the button in the top right that says add new, and it will bring up You can either upload one or you can link one from a folder. Then if you go to your color palette, again, you can either add new, and you can add multiple color palettes if you want to. So if you have got a few different sides to your business that have got different color palettes, you can have it all within this one brand kit. And then to add the individual colors, you just click on new and put in the hex value of that color, or you can add in the CMYK value as well if you want to, but the hex value is kind of the most universally digitally used code value, so that's the one that's most useful for you to know what it is. And then for the fonts, you just click on the different type of font that you want to add, whether it's a title, a subtitle, a heading, a subheading, and then the body text and the quote text, and you just click on the area, and then it will come up with a drop down menu that says choose a font, and you can just go through all of the different fonts that are within Canva and select the one that you want to put as those different parts of your document. And then how that becomes useful is if we go back and start a new document. So let's just say I'm going to start a brand new Instagram post. When I'm now in my document, if I go then over to the brand section within the Canva document over on the left hand side, I can now see my logos, my colors, and my fonts are all here. So I can just click on and put in one of those elements for me. And when it comes to things like the colors, so if I'm clicking on the background of the document and go up to the top to the kind of rainbow, which shows the background color, it's then showing here now on the options my brand colors, so I don't have to then remember what the codes are every time. I can literally simply click on that color and it's there for me. And then the same with the fonts. If I decide to add in a text box, it has the default fonts here, so my heading, my subheading, and my body, and I can just click on the heading and it's already there in the right font for my brand. So again, it's just one of those things that's just going to save you time by setting up that brand kit, and one of the features that you only get if you're on the pro version of Canva. So Canva Pro tip number 2 is probably my favorite feature, and that is brand templates. So brand templates are a way that you can set up a document that's got templates for different things you do, most likely probably social media, and then you save it as your kind of master document. And then when you go and create like each month's worth of content, you can just pull in the files that you want from your main master document. If that doesn't make sense, don't worry, I'm going to go into Canva now and I'm going to show you what it is and then how to set it up. Right, so if we're going into a new document, you need to select what the document is first. So say I want to make a brand template for my Instagram posts. So I'm going to pick Instagram posts. Then I'm going to show you what pre-created brand templates look like. So if I now go into my brand kit again on the left hand side, the fourth one down, along the top will be your brand templates. If you don't have any yet, you won't have any showing. I've got quite a lot. And if you click on see all, which is over on the right of that section, it will then show you all the different brand templates that you've got. So this is the one that I have for my Instagram posts, and what I can simply do is I could say I wanted to call this my April Instagram posts. I can now pull in each template that I want to use. So say I want to start with a checklist like this and just pull it in. I can add another page. I could then pull this one in maybe, and I can make up my month's worth of documents from that template that I've already got. So I don't have to worry about starting again with a design because they're all there. And how you make a document a brand template is, say this wasn't one that I had pulled in from my templates, it was just one I'd created from scratch. If you then go up to share in the top right hand corner, click on the 3 little dots, and then one of the options that will come up will be called brand template. And if you click onto that brand template option, what it will do is it will ask you to put it into a folder. So you can create a new one. There's a create new button at the bottom, or you can search through your current folders if you already have folders set up. And then you just simply use the purple button to add it to your folder, and then you publish it at the bottom. So there's a purple button at the bottom that says publish. And then that gives you a link to share it if you want to share it with anybody else. But what it then does is, if I then go back into the home page, so if I go back to the Canva home page and back into that brand section again on the right hand side, and then look into my brand templates, you can see here it's shown, it has a little name at the top that says brand template on it, and this is showing me all my different brand templates that I've got. And then when I go and create another document again, I've got those files ready to pull in whenever I need to. So yeah, brand templates are a great way of keeping your content organized, so you don't have multiple files going on with loads of different designs in. You're like, oh, where did I get that kind of design from, or when did I use that before? If you put it all in that one master brand templates document, you can then pull them into your documents in the future, and you can always go back and add to the brand template. So actually, let me hop back into Canva a minute and show you that. So if you go back to that brand section, and these are the templates for my Facebook group, if you click on it, in the top right, there's either a purple button that says you use this brand template, and what that will do is create you a new document using all of the files in here. Or if you click on the three little dots next to that purple button, it says edit brand template. And what that means is you can go and edit the original. So if you decide, actually, there's another template that I want to add, you can then go and add it to the document. So for example, I want to create a new one now that is like an hour to go reminder. So I've added that new page into my brand templates now. Canva auto saves all the time, so you don't need to worry about saving it. It's now there. It does take a little while for it to start showing up in your brand templates, but if I now go into say the document I'm using for my Facebook post for the month, which is what that template was for. So this is my March file for my Facebook group posts. If I then go and add the new document, new page that I want, if I now go into that brand template again and into that Facebook post one that I just edited, down the bottom is now that new page that I've just added. So it means that if there is a template that I'm like, oh, I now need to add, I want to make this one of my regular ones, you can just go and edit that original brand template. Do give it about 10 minutes or so for Canva to catch up, and then it will then appear in that brand template and you can go ahead and use it. So yeah, that is tip number 2, using brand templates. Let's go straight into tip number 3, and that is using the background remover. So how the background remover works, I'm back in my Canva document here. So I'm going to pull in the photo that I want to cut out, which is this one. And up here, along all the options, there is one that says background remover. And you can click on that, and then you can see it makes it into a lovely cutout of me. And if I then click back onto the background remover, say there was something that wasn't quite right, you can then use this erase or restore buttons to add bits in. You can make the brush size smaller or bigger depending on how detailed you want to make it, and you can show the original image behind. So say I decided, actually I want to put this tree in the background back in, I can use the restore button to then pull in the bits of the tree so that I can, I mean, I would do it a lot neater than this, obviously, but the main reason you would probably use this is, say it's cut off a bit of your finger by accident, you could go and restore that bit of your finger. So this is a very quick and very rushed example, but then I can click out of this, and you can see that that cutout has got that bit of tree put in it. And if you want to erase anymore, you can erase more of the image. So say I wanted to take and make it a bit shorter, you can then again do the same and it will cut out, erase extra bits of the image as well. So there's lots you can do to play around with the background remover, but essentially what that can do, which is really helpful, is create a cutout of you that you can then use and put onto any color background that you want. So a nice quick tip there for you using one of the Pro features that again I use all of the time. And connected with that is how you can then download files with transparent backgrounds. Okay, so I'm back in my Canva document. I've chosen a different image this time, but say that I want to put this onto my website and I want to be able to put this onto any coloured background that I want and place it anywhere. I don't want to have it boxed. I just want the image itself. What you can do when we've got the Pro version of Canva is when you go to share and you go to download a PNG, you can tick on transparent background. And what that will do is it will not save this white bit, it will save it clear. And that means you can then put this picture onto any kind of background that you want. It's really good for doing things like this if you want to put them onto, say, your website or a landing page or something like that. And for logos, if you can download a logo with a transparent background, it means you can put it onto anything and it will show up really well. So yeah, you just make sure you tick that transparent background option, and that's within the PNG file settings. So a quick little tip there for tip number 4. So the fifth and final Pro Canva tip that I want to share with you today is the resize tool. And what this basically does, as it says on the tin, really, resize any of your Canva documents into different sizes. Kind of really good if you're cross-posting across different platforms and social media, and it just saves you time. You don't have to do all that copying and pasting. So let me show you how this one works. So let's take this Facebook post template that I've got for the posts that are in my Facebook group. So I wanted to now put these onto Instagram. Obviously Instagram's recently changed its size and it's now that portrait size. So I need to make these bigger. So what I can do is go up here at the top options in the kind of blue area, you've got file and then you've got resize. And what you can then do is you can either select the defined sizes. So if you're not exactly sure what that new Instagram size is, it can come up here. Or if you want to put your own size in, you can actually type in the sizes that you want in pixels or inches or millimeters or centimeters if it's for a particular type of image that you want to resize. But I'm going to go with the social media post, and then the two options come up. The one that goes in purple is the copy and resize. So what this will do is it will create you a second document. So it won't touch your original document. It will make you a new one at that new size. But if you say you started designing something and you realize halfway through that you've actually designed it at the wrong size, you can actually resize this document as well. So there are your two options. You can either resize the size of the design you're in, or what you're more likely to do, and it's why it's then highlighted purple, is you want to make a copy of it and make a resize of that design. So I'm going to click that one, and then you just let it do its thing. Obviously, depending on how many pages it is, will depend on how long that takes to do. And then what you can do is you can open that document in that new size, and what you will see is it has made it that bigger size. Now some of them fit really nicely, some of them you are going to need to play around with a little bit. Again, it's just a time saver. So if you have created something at one size and you want it to be another size, you can use that resize tool to make it happen really quickly. Now the more change in size that is happening, the more you're probably going to have to fiddle around with it. So say I do the same thing, and this time instead of resizing it to a Instagram post, I'm going to resize it to a YouTube thumbnail, which is a completely different size to this square image. If I now copy and resize that, you will see that it doesn't scale as well as what the Instagram one did. But what it does show you is you still got the image there. So like you can see this one has cropped a bit here, but the rest of it is fitted really nicely. So all I would need to do is move that image a bit to make it to fit in the space. So you will need to do a little bit of tweaking here and there, but it's a lot quicker and it's happened a lot faster to get those files in that right size for you without having to do lots of copying and pasting. So yeah, the resize tool within Canva, again, another one of the pro features, really, really helpful if you need to create documents in different sizes. So I hope you have found these 5 pro Canva tips super, super helpful. If you've enjoyed this episode, please let me know in the comments. And if you would like more Canva training, inside the This Mum Loves Tech membership, there's a whole host of Canva tutorials covering creating brand kits if you've only got the free version, doing a little bit more of an introduction to Canva, looking at creating social media templates in more detail, and lots more hints and tips and things on how to use Canva more effectively. The membership is £30 a month. And as well as all those Canva masterclasses, you also get weekly Q&A calls with me. So if you have got any questions relating to Canva, you can come on the call, share your screen, show me where you're struggling, and hopefully we can move you past those tech stumbling blocks. And I will put the link where you can find out more information and obviously join us in the show notes. I'm looking forward to doing more of these tips episodes for you. I've got ones planned for MailerLite and Google Workspace. If there's any of the other tools that I have spoken about before that you would like me to do a tips episode on, please do let me know either in the comments or come into the This Mum Loves Tech Facebook community. It's a great place to ask all your questions, get feedback from other members of the community as well, and make connections with other female business owners who are on the same tech journey as you, trying to put tools and processes in place so that they can concentrate more on what it is that they love doing and get the tech sorted. So thank you again for joining me for today's episode of This Mum Loves Tech, and I'll see you again soon.